and California seems to have more than its share of serial murders, just second in the country after New York. Multiple murders, a recent phenomenon, are now claiming between 500 and 1,500 American lives each year, according to the Justice Department. The Zodiac murders were not simply killings. They were sex crimes in which the killer reduced the victims to objects that existed only to give him sexual pleasure achieved through violent acts. The hunt for the victims was the foreplay, and the attack the substitute for the sex act. Zodiac, a sexual sadist, achieved his sexual pleasure by torturing and killing because violence and love are hopelessly intertwined and confused in his mind. Sexual sadists have a tendency, like most serial murderers, to be quite intelligent and become amazingly proficient at concealing themselves after their first killing. The cat-and-mouse game they play with the police may become the principal motive for the crimes. Once the killer is captured, his detailed and grisly confession itself is a brutal attack. Though no one knows what creates a sexual sadist, many doctors suspect a damaged sex chromosome or an event early in life. Cruel and rejecting parents and peers may create pressures that are expressed in childhood by bedwetting, shoplifting, and animal mutilation and torture. With the awakening of puberty, the anger manifests itself in ever-increasing, cleverly concealed acts of sadism. If there is one key word for the entire story of the Zodiac mystery, it is obsession. The lure of the case has destroyed marriages, derailed careers, ruined health. As over 2,500 Zodiac suspects were scanned, people were swept away by a tide of mystery, tragedy, and loss. I wanted this book to accomplish something, to effect a change, to stop the killer. Slowly, each strange symbol and cipher broke away, and I learned how the killer wrote the untraceable Zodiac letters, why he killed when he did, and even the inspiration for his crossed circle symbol and his executioner's costume. This is the true story of a pursuit that spans almost 2 decades and still goes on. I have included hundreds of facts never revealed in print before. It is as accurate an account as 8 years of research can provide. Over the years, only fragments of the Zodiac letters were released by the police or reprinted and reproduced by the newspapers. In this book, for the first time, is every word Zodiac wrote the police. In a very few cases, it was necessary to delete the last names of some witnesses. They are known by the police. The names of several major Zodiac suspects have been changed. Some facets of their past work records, educational degrees, and geographical locations have been altered. In the cases where it was necessary to change a name, this is noted in the text. In the chapter on Andrew Todd Walker, limited portions of dialogue were reconstructed for purposes of narrative flow. Witchcraft, death threats, cryptograms, a hooded killer still sought, dedicated investigators, and a mysterious man in a white Chevy who is seen by all and known by no one are all parts of the Zodiac mystery. The most frightening story I know. Robert Graysmith, San Francisco, May 1985. 1. David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen. Friday, December 20th, 1968. When he hiked in the rolling hills overlooking Vallejo, David Faraday could catch glimpses of the Golden Gate Bridge, the saltwater fishermen, sailboats and speedboats on San Pablo Bay, and the wide, tree-lined streets of the town. He could make out the black skeletal derricks, the piers, battleships, brick smokestacks, and 3-tiered warehouses of Mare Island, the great gray mass lying across the straits. In World War II, thousands swarmed to the area to do Navy work, and Vallejo was transformed into a boomtown. Cheap housing units of plywood and plasterboard were thrown up, temporary